All right. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Smash Time Lead Therapy. Today we have a really cool guest. It's the one and only Good Patriot. So I wasn't to come in here and build her up and play a bunch of videos, but I'm too excited. I'm too excited to have her on. So let's bring her into the chat and we'll get started. Welcome to the channel.
I can't hear anything.
Uh-oh. You can't hear me? Hold on, let's see. Is my mute on? My audio's on. Technical difficulties. It might be on your end. Let's see.
Hey, babe. Babe, I can't hear anything. Is the mic on? Yeah, I'm on.
All right. Hold on.
Look at this. We have live technical difficulties, folks.
Okay, there we go.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. You know, I've done that all the time. Once I did a whole live with my mic up here, and the whole live, everyone's like, I couldn't hear a word you were saying. Well, my mic was way up there. So sometimes I forget to turn it on. So now I just never shut it off.
Yeah, I know. There's always some technical difficulty going on.
Always. It's the story of our life, right?
Yeah.
Well, first, I want to thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Sure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're probably the hardest person I've ever tried to get on. Your schedule is so busy.
Popular. Just kidding.
Right. Well, you know, I don't want to fanboy out, but I watched some of your videos, and the first one I watched, we'll get into, was Making Men Better, and I thought that was phenomenal. And I showed it to my wife, and we had some very interesting conversations after that. But it was a great video. And then I was like, okay, I don't know who this person is, but I need to go from day one and look at your whole repertoire of videos. And it started out with the Gun Bunny. So I have to ask you, this isn't your first YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
You don't have any history of like production or?
Oh, no. No, I use YouTube to get on YouTube. I just well, what happened was, you know, Black Rifle had all these gun videos, and a couple other guys were making funny gun videos. I mean, this was like 3 years ago. And I decided, I'm like, well, there's no chicks doing funny gun videos. So I basically just started watching YouTube videos. First, it was like, okay, what camera should I buy if I want to make, you know, these videos? And then I looked at microphones, and then I just ordered it, took a risk, you know, spent like $800 and talked to 2 girls that, you know, were willing to be in that first Gun Bunny video with me. One girl I didn't know at all. And then one girl I barely knew. We had just met, and I just presented her with the idea, and she was down for it. So we made the first one, and then we made Gun Bunny 2, and then after that, like after a couple months, you know, one of them got pregnant, and so she wasn't really doing, you know, it wasn't the same if someone's 9 months pregnant making funny videos. And then the other one went to Germany for the military, and so I had to figure out, like, what the heck am I going to do? My 2 sidekicks are not available, so I made like a satire monologue one day. I don't even remember what it was. I think I was acting like Hillary Clinton sent me a letter or something like that.
Yeah, that was, I was going to bring that one up too, because you did the Gun Bunny Rehab 1 and 2, which I think is phenomenal. Guys, here, let me get your channel just so they can all subscribe to it. Let me put it in the chat. Okay. Guys, if you are not a subscriber to Good Patriot, shame on you. Please like and subscribe to her channel. It is a riot. It is so funny. And all these videos are hilarious. They all have a lot of messaging in it. And some of them are actually way deeper than you think. And it's like, wow, it kind of makes you think. So you did Gun Bunny 1 and 2. You did the multi-level marketing, which I've had to sit through 2 of those.
Oh, I literally, if I can't sleep at night, sometimes I think about multi-level marketing people, and it just makes me angry. I mean, no, like, you just have to. Here's the thing about multi-level marketing, and why I kind of made fun of it, was you have to have a special sort of personality to be successful in that. So, people are all different. We've got type A's and B's and blah, blah, blah. Everyone's got extrovert, introvert. There's a certain personality that has to be willing to just bug the people you love most in your life incessantly to buy an overpriced product that 6 or 8 people have to make money off of. And I'm not saying they're not good products. I'm just saying that all MLMs, the way they're structured, the product is overpriced because so many people have to make money on it. And like, I've just been burned by people who I thought cared about me, and they were just trying to get me to come over so they can present their new multi-level marketing product to me, and they weren't honest about it. So because that's happened and everybody's had that story where you've had a friend say, hey, let's meet for lunch. And then all of a sudden you're like watching a video about some energy drink and how it's going to change your life for you to own your own business. Coffee. So I took a stab at it. And I know looking back at those videos is so weird. It seems so long ago. The world's so different, and I don't know, but it was all the videos I made, with other people in them were so fun. They were hard work because we didn't know what the heck we were doing.
They were so good. The Hillary fan mail. I like the Valentine's Day one. That was funny. Now, let's check the chat because I gotta acknowledge everyone in the chat really quick. We got Bob in the chat, Country Boy, William Garcia. What's up, buddy? Mike McClune, Andrew Conrad, Chris, my Filipino brother. What's up, man? Misty, Nutty. Look at all these guys in here.
What's up?
Make sure, again, I'm going to post it in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe to Good Patriot because it's so funny. The one that I really loved was the Hillary fan mail. That was funny. Do you write all these jokes too? Because I don't know if you know how funny these are.
I don't think they're going to be funny. Every time I do a video, now they're more serious and I try to make them funny, but sometimes you just can't. But every time I made a funny video or, started even getting into the serious stuff, I'm like, they're going to hate this. This is going to suck. No one's going to think this is funny. No one's going to care about this information. It's like all that self-doubt. But I just felt like I just put out what I felt like God laid on my heart to do, funny or not. And but it was like video after video, people were like, oh my gosh, this is the best one yet. And then I'd make another one. Oh no, this one's the best. And I like the ones that I thought were going to fail the most were actually the most popular. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. I guess I'm happy about it.
Let's take one of your recent ones that you just did, the CMMG, the 4.6.
Oh yeah, the gun review.
So you're doing a straight gun review. I'm like, oh, this is a nice change. A straight gun review. That was hilarious too, because then you post, here comes Crazy Eyes. That was so funny.
Yeah, I have to make fun of myself. I mean, I don't know. I like making jokes, and I'm perfectly willing to demean myself or make fun of myself in order to make people laugh. So,
well, the good thing about that review too, because I've done a ton of reviews, and I've only been doing this thing like a year now, and I like that you pointed out it only came with one mag. That's always a downer too. If it's a specialty mag, it should come with at least 2. And you said my favorite saying is 1 is none and 2 is 1, or 2 is 1. I tell it to people all the time, and they're like, what? They don't get it.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed that. That even your serious review was hilarious. It was really funny. Very well done.
Yeah. Well, confession, I really don't know what I'm talking about when I review guns, so I have to make them funny in order to get people to watch.
That's
there's always, some older guy who's like, I want you to talk about the radial gas blowback system and how it affects the trajectory of the blah, blah. And I'm just like, I'm not your girl. You can go to like a million other channels where guys are breaking that stuff down. Like, I like to talk to people who are either beginner or intermediate in the whole gun sector. They really don't know the technical stuff very well, but they just want to know the basics. Like, what's it like to shoot it? How does it feel? Exactly. Like, how much does it cost? Is it going to make you feel like a Navy SEAL, even though you're not even close? Is, like those types of things. I'm not going to get into like the whole inner workings of the, the bullet, whatever, how it exits.
Right. I totally understand, because that's the angle I take with my reviews too, is because look, I'm not an expert. I'm learning with everyone else. I'm just an average gun person. I get this gun, I shoot it. If I like it, great. If I don't, great. I can't go through the genealogy of, oh, this is a remake of this gun, and the weight and the ounces and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's just not me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Does it
And
work?
most people
Is it
don't.
fun to shoot? Yeah, most people don't.
Yeah.
And a
So
lot of people that watch your videos are just looking for buyer's confirmation anyway. They already own
yes.
it.
Yep, absolutely. I was actually surprised because CMMG was getting, and this is not like, I just needed to wear a beanie because I had a bad hair day, but I'm not like trying to endorse them.
I get that a lot
even
too.
though I love my Banshees and all that. But CMMG got a lot of heat when they spent, I don't know how much money they spent on marketing that 4.6, the release of it. But man, they, we all did this promo video for them. They sent out a ton of guns. I had to send that one back, but like they spent so much money on marketing for this 4.6, but they got so much heat before it even came out. Like so many negative comments, like, what are you guys doing when you can't even fulfill the orders for the guns you already have? And now you're releasing this, and why do I need this gun? And so I hadn't done my review yet. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to say about this thing? Like, so I'm like, well, I always just try to keep it honest and everything. So when, I'm like, well, the magazine situation sucks, one magazine for a $1,400 gun. And, but
100%
it is. It's just,
agree.
yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I was mad at them because they didn't send me an optic on the gun. So I had to take an optic that was already zeroed in on one gun and like put it, I mean, I don't know, because when you're not really great at zeroing in optics, that's a big deal. So I was annoyed that I had to, use my own and then, redo everything, but whatever, I was very grateful that they sent it out to me. And
You just gotta, glass half full. Just look at, this is another opportunity to reshoot your gun already.
yeah, and
Zero it. It's more time at the range. But yeah, it is a pain in the butt.
yes, but and I hadn't done a gun review in so long because we've just been concentrating on trying not to be thrown into FEMA camps, that I was excited to do a gun review because they're just lighthearted and everything. And I want to do more this year, but I'm not really in the zone of buying a lot of guns right now. So we'll see what happens. There's one company that reached out to me. Here, I'll give you a little like insider thing. And I'm not going to say what company it was, but they contacted me, their marketing guy, and said, hey, we want you to review this pistol. And it looked interesting. And I said, okay, but, so what's the compensation? Because when you get to a certain number of followers, you bring in a lot of sales for these companies.
There's a lot of eyes.
A lot of eyes and I've had so many, I sold so many Banshees for CMMG, and we didn't have any kind of deal. Like, these companies don't have affiliates or anything. So it's like, you get this beautiful gun, which is really exciting in the beginning. But when you calculate how much money you're making these companies, you're like, okay, now I know my worth. If I know I sold this many Banshees for CMMG and this many, P365s for SIG, I know that I'm going to sell this many guns for this company that's wanting me to do a review. So I gave them like the tiny little like cash amount, like, okay, they're like, well, we'll let you keep the gun. And I'm like, okay, that's nice.
That's nice, but ammo is expensive. Time and energy.
Yeah, one, like, I'm paying money. I have to pay for my range time and the ammunition, and it's a day of work. And you know what I mean? Like, and I already have 2 guns, so I don't need any more.
Yeah, I have just 2 also. They're right here. That's it. That's all I have.
Yeah, I just have this little old SKS back there, and that's it. I'm like all Red Dawn. So I gave them like such a reasonable little fee to do that review, and they said no. and I was just like, you guys are so stupid, because for the price of like 2 guns, I would have done this review and brought you guys probably at least 50 sales. You know what I mean? It's like, guys, you got to think, I'm not,
Right.
and I'm not like bragging about me. This is like any person on YouTube doing reviews that has a larger audience that gets good responses and everything. My audience is very trusting. So, but I was like, man, if, I sell t-shirts, if some like bigger account who is known for bringing in a lot of t-shirt sales said, hey, I want to charge you $20 and I'll promote your t-shirt. And I was like, I'm not going to pay you $20. I'm just going to give you the shirt. That's kind of what it's like. Anyway, that was just
It's
total
a small,
gun gossip.
Some
But,
people get up to like 20 grand to even touch a gun in our industry.
oh gosh. Yeah, that's not me. That's not me. Really?
But with
I'm
the
like,
100,000 subscribers, you should probably get at least, I think the going rate's about $1,000. I would guess it should be around there because time, energy, and ammo is not cheap. Especially right now, ammo's not cheap.
No, and I just let go of an ammo sponsorship too, just because I always want to give people the best deal for the best quality product, and the site was just not the best. And so it's like, since I started, I wanted an ammo sponsorship, and I just said no, because I'm like, I can't in good conscience, recommend your site when I know that people can get better ammo at a better price somewhere else. So
100%. You can't do it. And I'm working on an ammo sponsor right now, actually. I kind of have 2, but they're not like, nothing's firmed out or anything, but I like both of them. So they're great people. Both of them are great. They all help the channel.
Yeah.
Let's see who's in the chat real quick. AGS, Triple H, my man, Urban Ninja. All these people are going to be fanatical watchers of your channel, by the way. I have the best subscribers. To this day, I've never blocked anybody.
Oh, that's good. I rarely have to block people, and it's only if they actually physically threaten me or say something super gross. I'm like,
see, there's not all a bunch of benefits to being a girl, guys. It comes with a lot of drawbacks.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen often. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so
Well, hey, it's like a fine wine as they age.
Yeah.
So my wife was like, "Oh, are you gonna have a bunch of groupies?" I go, "Well, my demographic is 55 fat white guys, so I don't think not a lot of groupies in my genre here."
Yeah, what's funny is YouTube. I haven't checked the stats for a really long time, but YouTube, my following was really strongly men, like 90%. I think in the beginning it was like 95%. Maybe now it's like 85%. I don't even know. I haven't checked it for so long. But Instagram used to be similar. It was like 75, 25, more men. And then now I just recently checked and it was like 70% women, 30% men. And I just thought that was really cool. That I have kind of a balance there. And the women, like, of course, I like women. I'm not a woman hater or anything, but women can be catty and snarky and weird and
no way.
But they're so supportive and amazing. Like on Instagram, like this following I have is just, they're so great. And it's like you like post some silly. It's like, look, I made oven roasted tomatoes. I mean, I know that's a little random on my Instagram stories, but they're, 15 women will be like, oh, girl, give me that recipe. Like, I don't know. It's cute. It's really funny. And they've surprised me in a very good way. Cause I thought, the more women followers, the more complaints you're going to have. Like, cause in the beginning, you just get these, these little picker women, like I don't know. They're just,
yes. I've had some horrendous comments thrown my way also. So I know, shocking, but those guys don't really comment a whole lot. But I wanted to reiterate, you do about 2 videos a month on average, right?
Yeah.
And that's for anybody out there thinking about doing YouTube or anybody that does YouTube. Quantity does not always beat quality. It's better to have a well thought out video than just knocking out 4 videos a week. If it's kind of just mediocre, it's better to have 1 a week, 1 solid video. And
yes. Yeah,
That's
and I mean, so I had some months last year. I kind of just like let go last year. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, it was a very serious year. Um, and I was like, whatever I feel is different and unique and important to say, that's what I'm going to say. And I'm not, and I took the pressure off myself because you do get, it's this like constant battle between like the world's like hustle, 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 growth, 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 take advantage of this and blah, blah. And then, you know, what God wants me to do and what I feel is truly offering, you know, people like a unique perspective and something very helpful, you know, because you have a million people doing daily commentary on the news. You know, anybody
right.
can do that. And that's not, I don't want to do that. I want to like, when something strikes me as different and I haven't heard about it yet, people aren't breaking it down. It's like, okay, I'm going to do a video on that, you know, and then hopefully this year I can do more satire, funny videos too. But, yeah, I just have never been one to want to do what everyone else is doing because I don't know why. Like, why? Just to keep producing for, you know, I don't know. Like you said,
100%.
quality over quantity for sure. You
And
know,
it's funny. I was talking to a bunch of YouTubers, and we were all gun tubers. There's like 6 of us. We're all talking about because I really believe, if I can learn by making a mistake, I want to share that with other gun tubers. Why should
mhm.
we all make the same mistake when I can make it and we can all learn, and then vice versa? And I think we can all get better as a group because there's a weird competition sometimes on YouTube in different genres where nobody wants to help. We call it the crab mentality. Everyone wants
Yeah,
to pull each other down, and they say good job, but they really like, oh man, and then it's
yeah,
just horrible. So
yeah.
we try and break out of that. We all try and really help each other out, and it's a lot of fun. But we were talking about our first videos and how horrible they are, and
Mhm.
we're all like, everybody's first video sucks, and I'm like, well, I know somebody. Her first video is probably my favorite.
I got really lucky with the Gun Bunny rehab video because and you know, it took us 2 full days to film that 2 minute video. And at the time,
Unbelievable.
Instagram was just allowing 1 minute to show and then you had to swipe. So it
Right.
was like trying to pack everything into like 2 minutes max. And, um, but I mean, but there are videos in the middle of my whole video career that I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was so cheesy. And I think I was just trying to find my voice, to put it in a cheesy way, where I was maybe trying to be like somebody else instead of just being myself. And it just, when I look back and watch those videos, I just kind of shake my head. I'm like, that is truly cringy. That is,
No way. It's some of the best stuff you have.
uh,
Um, let's see in the chat. What's up says Good Patriot is the real American woman.
yeah, I'm real. Here I
Um,
am.
Gort right here says YouTube unsubscribing to Good Patriot. Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
That's happened to me a bunch
yeah,
where people say, hey, I was subscribed to you last week, and all of a sudden I'm not. James says he's a
yeah,
Smash Time groupie. We'll talk about that later,
yeah.
James. I don't know what you're doing. You need to get out more, James.
Don't let your wife know.
Steven says it's not fat, it's bullet resistance, or I call it tactical girth.
Yeah.
What's up? Says I wish you posted every day.
Oh,
Triple
yeah.
H got an amazing package. Oh man, I'm glad. I sent this guy a Romeo 5, a red dot, and some stickers and everything like a week and a half ago, and he just got it today.
And that's nice.
Man, it took a while. So let's talk about the Making Men Better video because that hit a
Mhm.
lot of chords. I showed that to a lot of
Mhm.
ladies, and most of them agreed.
Mhm.
But if you look at a deeper meaning in it, if you guys haven't watched the video, can you recap the video for the listeners?
Sure. Yeah, and I don't even know. That was definitely like a God thing. Like I don't even know where that came from. But basically, I go into this video and I am trying to reach out to women to take themselves off the pedestal of leadership in their families so their men can get on that pedestal and lead their family. And I think I was just seeing a lot of posts like about mama bears and protecting your kids from this, and I'm a mama bear and blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, do you not have a husband or a father to your child? Like, I got sick and tired. Like, even like corporations were saying that. Like,
Right.
you know, the mother is the last thing between, you know, big pharma and her child or whatever. I'm like, dude, how about dads? You know, or like there's a lot of women at these school board meetings going off, and I'm like, okay, there's not enough men, but it's because women, you know, we control out of fear, and most of them are not aware about, you know, why they're doing
Right.
that. But we're afraid, we're insecure about something, so we want to control. And I basically went into just a whole thing where I'm just pleading with women to, even if they're going to fail, even if they're going to do things wrong or not do it your way or do this, you need to let your husband take the lead in your family or even in your relationship. You know, if you don't have kids, you need to let your husband lead you. So it
Plus, you know,
has,
they've been trying to destroy the family dynamic for years. And then
Mhm.
that used to drive me nuts is I would pick someone up and they'd open the door. I'm like, I'm reaching for it. I'm like, stop doing that. Let me
Yeah,
open the door. You
right.
know, let me be me.
Yeah.
And,
And
uh,
I have a lot of very strong like type A friends, and you know, I'm type A, I get it, but I feel like I've done the work. Like I've gone through hard times where I've done the work on myself. Like I feel like I've taken the time to be a little more self-aware of my faults so I can work on them and be better. My husband, through church years ago, went to a thing called Celebrate Recovery, and it's basically like a 12-step AA program, but it's like all Christ-centered and everything. And he was leading that up for our church here in Texas, and I went to like help him set up the food and everything and just stayed that night to support him in his, you know, leading position and everything. And then I stayed, and then I went the next week. And long story short, I went through the entire program, spent a year going through these 12 steps, because it wasn't about like porn addiction or drugs or anything. It was just anything. It was like, do you have you know, anger towards your father, you know, which I didn't, but like stuff in your childhood, or, you know, it was for anybody who just couldn't get past some sort of emotion that was holding you back in
mm,
life, you know. And so, you know, I went through the whole, I think it was like 11 months long,
oh,
just
wow.
with women, a group of tight knit women, all going through their junk, you know. And most people haven't done that. But I think for me, like, it's one of the things that makes my marriage so successful is because both he and I have worked on our junk. Like, we looked in the mirror and said, I'm a piece of crap in this way, and I need to work on that, you know, and where's that coming from, and blah, 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 blah. And so anyway, and I'm not saying my friends haven't worked on their stuff, but like, you know, you see these very strong women, and, you know, you be in a room and they just like dominate, like with men in the room and everything. And it was like, it just kind of like clicked one day when one of them kind of took the lead on something. And I was like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right.
Right.
And that actually was what really triggered the video, where I'm like, you know, I'm tired of these like good, strong men just sitting around because they're so used to the women taking control.
Right.
They're just letting it happen. And in this whole world of like women complaining about rights and everything, it's like we have our rights. Okay, we have equal rights. Women, get a life. Like, go to Afghanistan, talk to those women.
That was another one of my favorite videos you did.
Oh my
Well, real
gosh.
quick before that, you know, my wife lets me pretend to be the man in public, but we know who runs the house. But in public,
Yeah.
I'm a decision maker. And what you said, what really hit home was like, hey, if he's going to fail, don't say anything, let him fail, and then support him when he
Yes.
fails. Man,
Mhm.
what a good message. What a solid message. And at the end of that video was the outtake of your husband walking around the back. And you're like, hey, I said you know, and you chew him out. And then you're like,
That's
just
why I was
kidding.
filming. Yeah.
Yeah. Hilarious. So you had a
Yeah.
solid message. It was delivered well. And then it was funny.
Oh, thanks.
Brilliant.
Thanks. Yeah, that's definitely one of my most favorite videos. And that was one where I thought it was so random. It wasn't about freedom. You know, it's like, I'm like, oh, here's another one where they're not gonna like it, and it's a strong message and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like wildly popular. And I think that video was what really tipped, you know, on Instagram, like my following, the women just like taking over, because there were so many women that were like, yes, you know, and there were a handful that were just completely disgusted with me, even a few friends, but you know, whatever, can't win them all.
Yeah,
But
but you know, that's good advice in relationship to, and then also just don't sweat the small stuff. I've been married,
yeah,
feels like 90 years. Just don't sweat the small stuff. It's not worth the argument of, you know, it's just, you gotta let that stuff go.
yeah, yeah.
Got Mr. Big Kid in the chat. He has a phenomenal channel. If you want to watch some good videography, his reviews are phenomenal. Steve, I'm going to brag on you, buddy. Can't wait to hang out with you at SHOT Show. Are you going to SHOT Show?
No, I'm not.
Are you
I
going to
saw
go to
they're
the
having a
event?
mask mandate, you know, and I wasn't officially invited. So I could have like called up Warrior Poet and been like, hey, can you get me on your list for that, you guys, or, you know, like CMMG or something. But honestly, I don't want to go. I don't want to deal with the mask mandate stuff. Like I'll never wear a mask. I don't, over a year ago, my husband and I decided not to fly unless there was like some
Right.
sort of family emergency. So me, like a 20-hour drive to Vegas is just not worth, you know, the networking and stuff. I don't care enough. It would be great to meet some people in person, but I just don't. It's not.
Well, you could have just invited yourself through the media. Sign up
Yeah,
as
and
media.
I obviously blocked that subconsciously because I didn't even want to know that, you know,
Yeah.
so I could have an excuse not to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop on a flight. I got my wife. Like, have you ever seen like not the lingerie? It's like the frilly mask. It's not really a mask.
Yeah, I've seen those.
It's like it looks like a doily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I
Mm-hmm.
got her a few of those. We're gonna go out there and just have a great time in Vegas.
Well,
The
that's
mask thing for me is meh. It's not a big deal. I live in Houston, Texas, and you're a Texan also, right?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah, central.
oh nice.
Yeah, between the big cities, San Antonio and Austin.
Oh, so you don't live in a city? You're so lucky.
Oh no, no.
Lucky.
Yeah,
Lucky.
that was a strategic relocation event there. I grew up in Southern California. So,
Same.
yeah.
I'm a California refugee myself. I'm from Compton.
Oh, you don't look like you're from Compton, I have to say. I mean, that may be racist, but I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, I know. I get that a lot. But if
Yeah,
I say Carson or Long Beach sometimes too, because
yeah.
that's people know Long Beach. But if I say Compton, they always go, really
Well, we
interesting.
just think of like gangster rap, you know, it's like we grew up with these songs about Watts and Compton and everything,
Right.
and, you know, so, you know,
And
but
then, did you have any of the benefits of the earthquakes out there,
oh, yeah, yeah.
like
I grew up
Northridge and
just
Bay Area?
terrified. Yeah, I mean, like even when we moved here and I was like putting glassware away in cabinets, I'm like, this is so weird that I don't have to think about these flying out of the cabinets in Texas, you know, because we don't have earthquakes here. But it was an adjustment. Yeah, just like even hanging pictures on the wall. I'm like, this is very weird. It's also very weird because where I live is very white, and going to the grocery store the first week we lived here, I felt uncomfortable because in Southern California it's so diverse. It's like I'm like, it was so weird just to be surrounded by only white people. It was just a kind of like
Culture
a
shock.
culture shock. And like even food wise, I'm like, man, I can't even get any good Mexican food around here or anything. And I guess I have to go to San Antonio or something. But
Well, the good benefit about being in Houston, Texas, it's very diverse. It's probably one of the most
yeah,
diverse cities in the United States. I'm on the
yeah.
far north side, outside the city limits, kinda,
Mhm.
still in a suburb, still too close for my own good. But what freaked me out, I'm 12 years an escapee, and
Mhm.
people were so nice to me here. I went to
Mhm.
the grocery store, right after I moved in my apartment, and there people were talking to you and smiling, and it's like, wow. I mean, that
Yeah.
just blew me away. I thought the guy was going to rob me. I'm like, you're not going to rob me in the parking lot, are you? I mean, what's going on here? He's, no, I just want to say hi.
You're like, no, we want you to come over for dinner. You can stay with us if you don't have place. I know that we were moving to Idaho, and our next door neighbors in California had moved to Texas a couple months before us. and it was either we were going to move to Texas or Idaho. We chose Idaho because my husband's from the East Coast and he wanted seasons. So my friend called me up one day though, and she's like, Katie, every time I do something here in Texas, I think about how much you'd love it, because I already had like the old truck and the boots and the guns and the cowboy and the country music and all that. And so she's like, why don't you come out here and just visit us and just give Texas one more look? And so we did. And, in hill country where I live is just not right now. They film The Walking Dead here in my town, literally, because it's so ugly and dead. But in the spring and the summer, it's completely different. It's actually really green and lush and beautiful. And so that's when we visited. And I just fell in love with it. But the people, like you said, were so loving and warm. And like people in Idaho are nice, but they're not warm. It's a different vibe there. It's a little more suspicious.
Like Gallus.
Yeah. So, the people and just being surprised by, I just always thought of Texas as kind of dry and cattle and, in the country.
Yeah. When my friends come to visit, I pick them up at the airport and we're driving back to the house. They're like, oh man, you guys have a Starbucks here? Oh, there's grocery stores and, you guys have a mall? I'm like, I don't ride a horse to work. I mean, there's more to Texas. I can do everything here that you guys do, except nicer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
Besides, we don't ride horses, we ride longhorns.
Right. Exactly. Mechanical ones. The Triple H says, I totally agree. The face she made on City Life. That's funny. Andrew Conrad wants to know about the gym. It's going very well. I'm 7 days in now. Mike McClune just subbed to your channel. Nice. He is a solid guy.
Thanks, Mike.
And he needs to get back in the exercise. Yes, you do. Motivation. How about not dying of the coof? Because if you're a fatty, that's what kills me about that. They don't say, hey, why don't you put that third cheeseburger down and lose some weight, fatty? Because you're in a high demographic of dying.
Right.
It's all, poke, not, hey, take some vitamins, get some sun. Let's be healthy. Let's be a little bit more positive. It's like, they're licking their fingers. You're fine. Don't fat shame me. Fat shaming works.
Yeah. Yeah. No, now it's glorified, especially for women.
Mm-hmm. Bizarre. I mean, I'm a little husky. Thank God my wife's a chubby chaser or, not going to work out. Oh, Fluffy says he's been subbed to your channel for many, many, many days.
Well, that's good. They haven't unsubbed him yet.
Yeah, Andrew said get David Goggins' book. I have his book. I read it last year when it first came out. Interesting book. Very interesting. So you also had a video, which I get so much grief about doing business with this company or doing reviews about this company. I know you know where I'm going. Springfield Armory. Every time I do a Springfield Armory video, they're like, I'll never support them ever again. I'll never, they turn their back on the 2A community. And you broke it down brilliantly in your video. So everyone listening or watching this, she did a video on Springfield Armory. I guess you got some hate for it. And then say,
yes. I did a review in the Hellcat. They sent 1 million Hellcats out. It was very exciting for me. That was my first ever free gun. It was like a huge milestone in this whole experiment on social media. And very excited to do the review. I knew people were going to dig on it because it's made wherever. What is it? I don't even know. Turkey or something. I don't remember where they even make them. But, or maybe that was Canik. I don't know. But anyway, some old FUD said something and just digged on me in a comment and said, you're not a real American if you buy or shoot this gun. Yeah. So I'm like, that's funny. Cause instantly in my head, I'm thinking he's probably typing that out on an Apple iPhone, That's made in communist China from, people, their employees are jumping out of buildings because they're so miserable. But it sparked a video idea. So I knew of this site where they basically rated companies on how good they were in terms of gun rights, abortion, and just certain things that, like Christian conservatives or conservatives in general care about. Where do these companies give their money to? Like Target. So they rate them. And so, Target's like a 0 and Hobby Lobby is like an 8 or
God
whatever.
bless Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. So I basically went on the site and found like a bazillion companies that were rated under a 2 that everybody uses, just like Amazon, Verizon, Apple, Levi's, I mean, Starbucks. I mean, just broke it down. I'm like, okay, you want to get on me for having a Hellcat? Like, let's talk about your phone, your jeans, your car, and when you can say that you don't support any of these companies, then you are more than welcome to insult me about using a Hellcat. But,
yeah, Springfield was the first company to give me a chance, and I don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm under 15,000, and Springfield was really good to me, and I've always been a Springfield fanatic. I actually have a couple of their beanies in the back. I'll send you one, and I have no problem. I love their products, and then Ruger too. Love Ruger. They get a lot of hate too, but
oh yeah, and I did just remember because it was like they supported some legislation in Illinois or something like that.
It was they had a PR firm.
Yes.
That kind of went behind the scenes. Might have had the blessing, might not have had the blessing of the CEO, but he came out, he apologized.
Yes,
and that was how many years ago? Get over it. Get over it.
And Smith and Wesson's done the same thing in a different way. Like it just, there's a lot of companies that have done the same thing where there's been fishy things going on. I mean, look at Black Rifle. Who even knows what one of their owners is like? It's like there's been so many rumors about that guy, but it's
Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah,
I heard quite a bit that they're just yuppies.
Yeah,
it's funny. Everyone assumes that if you're in the military or you served, you're automatically a hardcore conservative Christian.
Yes.
No. Yeah. I know a lot of people that went in the service just because after high school, that's all there was no other people. And they're complete left-wing lunatics.
Yeah.
Just because you go and serve doesn't mean, like my brother went in the service. He is a right-wing crazy person, but still, I'm sure I've met some hardcore lefties that have been in Iraq.
Yeah.
God bless them, but.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because you're a veteran doesn't make you a good guy. I mean, just like being a Christian doesn't make you a good person either. We just know that we suck. And that's why we like Jesus, because he makes that better. We gives us a motivation to try to be better. But yeah, yeah, I know.
I grew up in a really Latino neighborhood, and that was my favorite joke. It's like, man, Latinos really love being Christian. They name their kids Jesus.
Oh, yes. In Texas, we were pronouncing Jesus because we have a Texas accent for everything. Oh, like maybe in the city, you don't know, but like I grew up, I mean, I knew how to speak Spanish. I took 5 years in school, and so when we moved here, we live next to San Marcos, but you cannot say San Marcos. You have to say San Marcos. The Guadalupe River is the Guadalupe, and you don't pronounce it in the Mexican pronunciation. You pronounce it in the Texas pronunciation. That's just the way it is.
That is. How long did you live here before you started saying y'all?
Immediately, because I was insecure about being from California until I sold a piece of furniture on Craigslist, and I said something to the lady buying it. We had been here maybe like 2 months. And I said something to her like, yeah, I'm so insecure because everyone says, where are you from? I mean, I was like talking in a Texas accent and everything, but my husband's from Pennsylvania. So he's all Guido, like East Coast, and you can't hide it. So people are like, where are you all from? And I'd be like, oh, California.
Ugh.
But I like guns, like blah, blah, blah. And so I was telling this girl like my attitude about it. And she looked at me, and she's from a city. So I don't know. She was I don't know why that makes any difference. I just threw that out there. I don't remember why. But she's like, no, you have to own it. Like Texans like confidence and like they respect you just like owning what you say. She's like, just be super confident about it. Be like, yeah, I'm from California.
Yeah.
And then so that I started and it made a big difference. I mean, like, and what's funny is people that don't know me and they first meet me and I tell them I'm from California, but they don't know like what I do for a living or anything. They're like, oh, really? You know, kind of like, oh, one of those. They're buying up all our real estate. And
Oh, I know it.
It's like, no, I went.
Every time I see a California plate, I cringe. I'm like, oh God.
I know, me too. Lock the gates. But
look, I got kids here now. I got anchor babies. They can't deport me back to California. I'm good.
Yeah, well, I drive around like I put my flag on my truck. I have an old Ford and I drive around my small town and I put it up after Memorial Day because I don't know, I just didn't get up in time, but it's up still. I drive around, it's permanently on my truck. I have a big American flag that flies out the back and like, you know, stickers and don't call me my America. And
do you hear that, folks? She's being a good patriot.
Yes.
See
I'm also making myself a target because we have unfortunately, my small town is actually 50% hardcore hippie liberal. So we're like, we have two very strong strongholds here in our little, and man, oh my gosh, it's getting like pretty dicey sometimes. But we just won our school board. We have I think the 6 people on the school board, we have 5 strong conservatives now. So we did just win a huge battle, but man, it was tough. Like the
politics needs to be changed locally first.
Yeah, for sure.
A local level. And you know, it's funny. The first time I went to Austin, I do sales for a living. So the first time I went to Austin, it freaked me out. I was like, man, am I in San Francisco right now?
Yeah.
Because there was like tea houses and like someone was reading, there was like signs for poetry hour. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying Texas isn't cultured, but man, it's so many. And there was like 3 Priuses in the same parking lot. I'm like, wow.
Oh,
this is
crazy. Now it's Tesla, but
now it's Tesla. Mm-hmm. At least Tesla's not a Prius. I can handle a Tesla, not a Prius.
I actually have an electric car. It's not a Tesla. It's not a Prius, and I got it in California because I had a delivery business before I had Good Patriot.
Is it a Volt? Ugh. I mean, you know, that's a great car too.
Have a Volt. That's so gross.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
there's not a whole lot of other electric cars out there.
But so anyway, but that's like my incognito Austin errands. I go into Austin like every 2 weeks to get rations.
With like a piece shirt on and a
big
hat.
I usually purposely wear gun shirts and just to see. And like, it was funny, nobody ever, and people don't recognize me that often, but like when it does happen, it never happens in Austin, and like the last time I was up there, 2 people came up to me and they're like, are you Good Patriot? And I'm like, seriously? But yeah, I always wear my, cause I don't know. It was interesting during the mask stuff because I refused to wear a mask. I had a lot of very spicy confrontations, mainly with men, because they'd see you as a single female and they thought you're not going to bite back, and these guys, man, Costco, a couple crazy guys, like in our own grocery store here. But when you carry, it gives you a little more confidence. It was probably not the smartest move not to avoid the confrontation, entirely, excuse me.
Yeah.
Indian food. But oh my gosh, man, people are just nuts, but they're nuts everywhere.
They are. I think the social divide. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Alex Jones, but God, he's been right on so many crazy. I used to listen to him as a joke because I was born and raised a leftist. I grew up. Because you're from California, you know how the echo chamber is out there. And if you step outside that echo chamber, you lose all your friends. So politics wasn't that important growing up to me. I was just goofing off with friends, echo chamber, hardcore leftists. And then I moved to Texas and woke up. And it's it's so amazing. The last time we went back to California, as soon as I got on the 91 freeway, I was road raging. I was screaming. My wife's like, "Oh, we need to go. We need to just turn
Oh,
around and
it's
go."
horrible. I can't even, it's so, my immediate family's still there. Other than that, I don't miss anything. Like because I grew up in Orange County, which was conservative. And
I like Orange County. It's nice.
yeah, it was just it was such a different time, such a different dynamic when I grew up there. I mean, we still had like cattle on hills and real farms and farmers markets, and grew up just going to Newport Beach by the pier. And I was thinking about it the other day, like how our moms would just be like fall asleep for 3 hours and we'd like be in the Pacific Ocean, 6 years old, 10 years old on our
Yeah.
own for hours. The riptide would like take you down a couple blocks and then you'd like look up and not find your mom and like go back.
How
And
dangerous is that?
I know, but
So
it was amazing because it was just we truly I feel like my generation was the last generation to truly live free like that, where yeah, it was dangerous, but it's not like today where you turn around and your kid's gone because there's so much sex trafficking, like
it's
kidnappings
horrible.
are insane, and just the dangers of online, and like it's just so, but like living free like that, I just was thinking about like, I mean, we'd like sit there and dig for sand crabs and find, I mean, almost drown at least once a trip, You
Yeah.
know
I
what I
mean, that
mean?
was my favorite thing. I'd always try and escape where I grew up because it was horrible. But we'd go out to
Oh,
like Redondo Beach was fun. Manhattan Beach was a good hangout. Seal Beach was great.
mm,
Manhattan Beach was always fun. But it's funny in Texas. So I went to Galveston my first week here. I was like, oh man, let's go to Galveston. So you go to the beach, the water is dirt brown, and they're scraping seaweed aside to put towels out to lay out for the sun. So
oh,
gross. The
I
smell.
haven't even been down to Houston or any beaches yet, and we've
Don't come
been
here for the
here.
beach.
Oh yeah, no, I just figured like I had that great time in my life growing up in California. Like I'm just not, I'm older now. I'm very pale. Got to go to the dermatologist a lot.
I
Like,
used to go to the Block at Orange almost every Friday night. That was the spot.
oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, we
uh,
were there.
that and I'd go to there was a improv out there. I used to go to a lot of comedy shows out there. So much fun.
Hmm.
I saw all my favorite comedians out there.
Hmm.
Good spot. A lot of
Yeah,
fun. Now
yeah.
I know you're kind of crunched for time, but I wanted to get into prepping a little bit because I know you are a prepper, and I mean I'm a closet prepper. I
Yeah, I don't personally prep, but I give a lot of advice.
you
So
don't
I'm
really.
happy to talk. Huh?
Yeah, it's like, well, I know you talk about being prepared and all that stuff, and it's
Yeah.
awesome that I don't think enough people really push that message to be more self-reliant. Like I live with a lot of
Yeah.
Mormons around me, and that's one amazing thing about that religion is
Yeah.
they are prepper fanatics,
Oh,
and
for
that's part of
sure.
their religion. They a
Yeah.
year they need to be a year self-sufficient, which is amazing.
Oh, I thought it
I
was
know where they all
1 year.
live, so I know where to go ask for food. So it's
I
great for me.
know. And you just give them the Jesus guilt trip, hey, what would Jesus do? You got to give me that bucket of corn. Um, yeah, I have been talking about prepping I was looking back on my videos the other day because I was looking for one in particular and I couldn't find it. I'm like, dang it, did they take this one down too? But I found it. And I'm like, man, I've been talking about this for 2 years. And it has helped a lot of people. And yeah, I mean, we have to. We have it. What is coming is coming. There's like there isn't a resistance to stop it because this isn't, just isolated to the United States. This is global. So, and we're already in the war. People don't even realize it. It's just a very different war. And
Right,
there's not enough of resistance for this type of war. And people have been lulled into such weakness and comfort that to get them out of that is going to take a lot, and what they're going to be offering in the future is just too good to pass up for those that don't get it. So
right.
I kind of have, I like to tell people I'm not like this fatalist that just like, oh no, we're all doomed, but in a way it's like we're not getting the republic back, and there's not going to be a civil war battle. Like, this is going to be like small little militia
100%.
factions fighting back when we have to. So we have to prep, because their number one goal is to make us completely dependent on the government.
100%.
So
Yeah.
our number one goal should be, behind bringing people to Christ, is to be completely independent of their new system and government. And it's gonna, it's gonna be an adventure. It's gonna suck in a lot of ways, but it's basically gonna be one long camping trip with a lot of guns and ammo.
Right. So I've met a few
Red
people.
Dawn. I grew up watching Red Dawn. I mean, come on. I mean, literally, like,
that's the one movie they remade that wasn't that bad.
I didn't see the remake. I don't
The
think
remake wasn't bad. With Chris Hemsworth, I went in very pessimistic, and I was like, okay, not horrible. I liked it. It was good.
Oh, well, I'm open, but it was such like a staple in my childhood growing up.
Exactly. Me too.
That I don't want to taint it in any way. So, but
Right.
yeah, what's so funny is, like, my favorite movie is Braveheart and everything. It's just like, I was thinking about all this stuff the other day. I'm like, I can't believe we're actually going to live this out. Like, this stuff is happening. They're really pushing this huge global agenda to basically enslave everybody. This is going to be a wild ride,
Yeah. And about a month ago, I was watching John's channel, John Lovell, and he did this whole thing about having too many guns and being a gun collector. He goes, "Are you a gun collector or are you a protector?" And he's like, "It's better to have a few guns and be very good with these few guns than to have a whole collection of guns and kind of be good with a few." I was like, damn it, John. Now it's he makes a lot of sense. I love his channel.
Yeah, we haven't met in person, but he seems like a really good guy. I wouldn't be on their platform if I didn't think that. But yeah, I have, you got to remember, though, that those guns are going to be worth a lot of money and be a very valuable asset to give away or barter with in the future too.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with having a lot, but I agree with them. Like, you better know what you're doing with all of them.
Yeah, I have a few shotguns. I have a couple shotguns just to give away to neighbors, because I know there's some that don't have it. Well, they're Canadian, so they're not against it, but they're Canadian. They can't really buy it. But in a pinch, they'll be able to defend their family.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. So you're not going to SHOT Show?
No.
And that's a bummer.
I know. I'm sure. I've never been. I used to want to go really bad, and every year I say I'll go next year, but I've been saying that for like 3 years, and this year was just not the year. We just have so much going on. We just had surgery, gender reassignment, and I'm just kidding.
I said, be the man, whatever it takes.
I know. And there's just too much going on, that like it always like kind of creeps up on me too. It's like all of a sudden it's in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh man, I just missed it again. I don't know. I'm a homebody. I like being home, and
But I nominated you for the Gundies too. I'm sure a lot of people did.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I saw that. Honestly, I looked at who else was nominated in my category, and I'm like, there's like 10 people that deserve that award more than I do, because
Are you going to go to the Gundies?
No, because, well, again, it's like, I'm not going to win. I haven't even said anything on social media about it, because I do, like, there's other people that deserve that 10 times more than I do. Because it's I don't even remember exactly the category. It was like favorite 2A channel or 2A advocate or something. And it's like, these people have channels, like yours, like really were dedicated to guns and the Second Amendment. And I started out that way, but I'm not that channel anymore. Now I'm like, prepping, freedom, faith, like family, telling women to stop being lame, so I don't even want to win, because other people deserve it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, so what's next for your channel? I mean, are you going to keep going in that direction? Because I really enjoy the content, and it's so funny. What are you working on now? Can we have a sneak peek?
I am writing a script right now that's basically I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 things that are coming down the road for this year, just things to look for, you know, big things happening that we need to prepare for. I do have a satire funny video that I really want to do. It's going to take forever to film because it's a bunch of different scenes with a bunch of different people. And I'm not going to tell you what that's about, but I'm really hoping to get that one done like in the next 6 weeks or so. We have cedar fever here, like cedar allergies. And like, I literally don't want to go outside for the next 3 weeks because the last 3 weeks have been HE double hockey sticks for me in allergies.
Oh, wow.
Like today I'm feeling okay, but my goodness. So after the cedar's out of the air, I'm going to start filming that. And I'm hoping that will be a really good belly laugh for people. But yeah, so those are the 2 on my mind right now. And I've always got a lot of ideas. I write scripts and don't even film them. Like there's so many ideas that I have, but I don't know, like either time passes or I don't know. There's
Sometimes if I do a gun review, I'll do it, and then I look back, and it's like, man, it's been a few weeks already, and I'm trying to do part 2, and then it doesn't work right, and it's like, nah. Like I had a Hellcat review too. I scrapped it. It wasn't going together well. I shot a ton of video for it, and I was like, nah. I might cut it down to like a quick 1-minute video, but I didn't like it. Texan65 says, love Good Patriot. Sub to her channel a while back. Nice. Guys, if you are not a subscriber to her channel, please subscribe and like her channel. She'd greatly appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please like and subscribe to my channel. I could use every subscriber. I would really appreciate that also.
Yeah.
I just put her link in the description. So you have a mystery satire coming up, and then you have what to get prepared for 2022. I think 2022 is going to be absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it already is.
With midterms coming up, you could see how they're repositioning their thoughts on certain things. And sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes you just want to zone out and just not even be.
Oh,
the more
I know.
you know, the more freaked out you get.
I think you alluded to it earlier, but like I remember I was waitressing back in California years and years ago, and these 3 older golfers were talking to me about the election, and I can't remember what election it was. I think it was like the first Obama. And they asked me who I was going to vote for or something. And I said, oh, I don't really care about politics or something. And they just looked at me like, well, you should. These people are making laws that affect your life and everything. I'm like, oh, I know, I will one day, blah, blah, blah. And like literally, I mean, if they could, I wish they could see me now, because I was like, I was such a disappointment.
That's so funny. That's such a good story.
Yeah, but if like I only knew, 2 years later, I think is when it really, right before Obama got elected for the second time is when I really started waking up, and just kind of really got involved and kept up with everything. And
you know what's so crazy? It's so crazy with where we are currently. I would do anything to have him back instead of the guy that's sitting there now. Anything.
Barack Hussein?
Better than Sleepy Joe.
Well, they're all controlled, but they're just puppets.
And it's funny. Everyone's like, oh, are you left or right? I'm like, it's all the same people.
Yeah,
it's all the same.
Absolutely. The world's controlled by the elite. And I'm not talking about rich people. I'm talking about like people that psychopathic, blood drinking weirdo, Luciferian.
100%.
So
I was listening to Alex Jones. I was working graveyard 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And I would listen to this crazy guy talk about all this, global pedophile ring and Bohemian Grove and all this crazy stuff on the George Norrie podcast. God bless George Norrie. And man, he's except for Sandy Hook, he's about 9 for 9. I mean, he's a lot of this crazy stuff that Alex Jones was spouting off that I thought this guy's a lunatic. A lot of it's come true.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And then
frogs are gay.
after a certain someone committed suicide in his jail cell, conveniently, who knows?
Yeah.
After the Epstein thing, I'm like, anything is possible. I mean, they killed this guy in front of the whole world and was like, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. Conveniently, none of the cameras worked. I know. It's like, it just blows my mind. But people don't even know. They're totally ignorant. They don't even, I always have to constantly remind myself, like, people aren't listening to and seeing what you're seeing. Like, give them a little grace and patience, because even this morning I had a couple of friends texting me some information that I'd already made a video on like 8 months ago, and they're like, oh my gosh, did you know? Blah? And it's like your pride's like, I made a whole video 8 months ago on it. Like, but
catch up, folks, catch up.
But you just like, I've been down the rabbit hole for over a decade. That's a lot of YouTube videos and documentaries and coast to coast. And like, we've been down, I mean, it's like my husband and I got married and we decided not to have any TV in the house or cable, but we watch a lot of YouTube, and listen to like Coast to Coast and George Norrie and all that. So,
so you used to listen to Alex Jones when he would pop on his show?
Yeah, I remember seeing Alex Jones probably 15 years ago go to
the Bohemian Grove. He broke in and he videotaped all that stuff.
No, it wasn't Bohemian Grove. It was the other thing. It was the Bilderberger.
Bilderberg. Yeah.
He stood outside the building and with a megaphone, and I remember my husband and I were watching it. We're like, who is this nut job? Like, good for him. Who is this guy? He's like standing up for blah blah blah. And so friends of mine, they own a business here and they listen to Alex Jones all day. It's just hilarious when I go there and Alex Jones is on all the time. And like, he is like 95% right. And I think it's just, he sensationalizes a lot of things. So people don't take him seriously.
He has very bad delivery. Bad delivery.
It's the
so
delivery.
Mike McClune says, I can't wait to see what happens to Maxwell now that she was found guilty. That's not the question, Mike. The question is, what happened to her black book, which they have, and all the videos and all the ledgers and all this evidence that they have, that the FBI have? Why don't we know the names of all these people? That's the scary thing.
Yeah, well, we know a lot of the names, but
there's
not ever going to be justice. It's just the world. It doesn't work that way. There's only justice against us. There's never justice for the elite. There will be one day, but I think we're going to have to wait for that day and let God take care of business because it's just a rigged system,
Yeah, he might need a few days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think
he's going to need some time to sort this out.
Says his robes are going to be soaked in blood. So I'm just saying it's not the Jesus that's carrying a lamb in a white robe with a daisy on it. It's going to be like kicking butt Jesus. So.
Yeah, the elites control the levers of power. I've ran into a few people recently that are selling their house because they want to be renters. Why do you want to rent? Oh, because owning a house is a lot of stress. Because they want you to own nothing and be happy.
Yeah, I know. And they want that to happen by 2030. So think about it. That's 8 years from now. How much will the world have to change and by what means to completely change the global world from wanting to own private property? There's going to be some really funky stuff that's going to happen. And a lot of that happens here.
I need to get, since I only go into the city 1 day a week. So I'm thinking about relocating next year and moving farther out into the kind of in the boonies, and they're just making a 2-hour drive one way, do all my sales calls, and then 2-hour drive back. Just moving as far out as I can get.
Mm-hmm. Well, when stuff hits the fan, those people are going to come out of the cities. They'll be at you within a week. So the further you are out, the better. I'll buy you time. Set
Yeah.
up
That's
set up
what.
your people, your Red Dawn crew,
Yeah.
big trucks.
But that's the thing too. It's like it's okay to be out there by yourself, but you're by yourself and you're one against many. You know,
Yeah,
it's better.
you want some neighbors, you want people around you,
Right.
but
Where I live, my backyard's a preserve, and then I live on a cul-de-sac. Strategic. I picked this house just because it's easily defensible, and all my neighbors are very cool except one.
mm-hmm.
But you know, whatever. You always got that one.
Yeah, but he'll be good. Just barbecue him up, put some hot sauce on him. I'm just
Right?
kidding. That's a sick apocalyptic joke. I'm
Ah,
just tired. I'm sorry.
hey, it's so. I want to just say thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Everyone in the chat greatly appreciates it. Again, I put a link to your channel. Please subscribe and like her channel. Support what she does because it's so funny. I preach Good Patriot to everybody I meet. I have several channels I preach to. It's Mr. Big Kid is one because I really like his content. Yours because it's so freaking funny, but with a message, and
Yeah.
and my own, of course.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, anytime, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know she's got to run. Have a good day, everyone.